Everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with you today to talk about purchasing controls. Purchasing controls is still a very important topic when you're making medical devices. So today we'll explore that topic and share some learning on that. Our agenda today will be to start with some lessons learned from industry. It's easier to learn from what's gone wrong with other companies than to actually experience those things yourself. From there, we're going to move into going over the FDA's expectations, the regulations for purchasing controls, and we'll talk about their authority and scope. After that, we'll talk about the purchasing controls process, the steps of planning, evaluating, sharing purchasing data, managing performance, and feedback and communication with your suppliers. And after that, we'll move into some best practices, some things that you can add to your program of purchasing controls. What we know is that purchasing controls are still a leading cause of 483s and warning letters and recalls. So it's not just a compliance issue, it also can seriously impact your product quality, which is why the FDA puts so much emphasis on purchasing controls. So let's start off with some lessons learned. And I think one of the things that's very important that happened in 2008 were some issues with heparin. Heparin is an important anticoagulant that's sold not only as an individual pharmaceutical, but also it's a coating or a substance found in lots and lots of medical devices as well to prevent coagulation. And in March of 2008, there was a huge issue with heparin, and there were at least 81 deaths and 785 serious injury reports due to contaminated heparin from China. It was a really huge issue, and it was one of the things that caused the FDA to put such a strong emphasis on purchasing controls. The recalls were due to contaminated heparin, and they affected Baxter, B. Braun, Covidien, and other companies. As a result of these issues, there were recalls in 11 countries. There were so many recalls that there were actually fears of shortages of this life-saving and necessary product. And at that time, the FDA came out very strongly and they said that they told all the manufacturers and distributors of any products containing heparin or that were heparin coated, and they said that it is your responsibility to have purchasing and acceptance activities in place. Now, I think one of the things that's important to note is they talk about purchasing and acceptance activities. And we're going to get into more detail about that later on and why that is so important to have that balance. But in the end, Baxter got a warning letter because they failed to monitor changes in purity, they failed to investigate out-of-specification results, they failed to document processing steps in their records, and they failed to validate critical process steps.